Okay, so in this session, we really look into, I guess I can call it like yogic management. As you know, if you think of yoga, yoga really provides us all the teachings to understand our mind. I know in modern time, everyone, when we say, I'm going to do yoga, it really means we're doing stretching and twisting and going upside down in the head. But there is a very little of the yoga. To me, yoga is more about, learning how to live, how to be connected with ourselves. And one of my favorite teaching is what we think, what we speak, and what we do, they all become one. They all become one. But to make them all one, to bring them all together, what we need to really do is to get rid of all the conflict, isn't it? Because half of the time you see we all are, and I'm talking about me too, okay? It's not really, it may sound very easy. Let's just sit quiet and peacefully, okay? But doing it, mastering it, or getting to that point, it's not something which can just snap out of it. It takes a long, long process. Because inside us all, there is a human being, I call it a living being. The living being has thoughts, we have expectations, we have desires, we have wishes, we have liking, disliking, we also have the ego, my way or your way. Well, some people can bring them in the middle where I, me, and you, and we open up to see or hear each other's voice. And when you open up to hear that voice, I guess that brings us into a little bit of ease. So to me, yoga gives us all those tools to be connected with ourselves, to attain that relatedness. Now, when you want to connect with yourself, when we, to me, this retreat is all about self-care, self-love, self-nurturing. The first step on that process is to accept, to recognize. Now, when we talk now, I'm not really talking about going out loud on the Facebook and all that, but when we talk to ourselves, are we continuously talking about justifying and pointing the finger to somebody else? Okay, so to me, that is denial. If there is a stress, we are always looking who has done it, that person did this person happened, and even sometimes we erupt into emotions, we get anger, we get frustrated, we have all these things, and we try to point the finger to somewhere else. And you know what yoga said? Yoga said, let's stop doing that. Why we stop doing that? Because we cannot change other people. We cannot change the situation. Yes, we can take a break. We can go away. Like you all are doing such an amazing job to looking after somebody you care for, somebody you love, somebody you have that profound interest. You cannot really change that situation. You also cannot change that person because that is not in our control. We work with people in big groups. We can't change everyone in the group. And every time we try to change them, all we do is toxicate our life more, isn't it? But who we can change? We can change ourselves. So this acceptance is actually accepting that there is a problem. There is an issue, there is a conflict, not denying and not trying to go around to find a different way to explain it. I come across many people, even they know that what is happening in their life or what they're doing is totally wrong. Now this, again, I'm not trying to talk about our judgmental mind, because as a human being, we all are meant to do mistakes. Okay, remember there is only in the yogic teachings, only the two people never do mistakes. So if you're one of them, then yeah, you got to have a bit more higher expectations. So the number one, it says, is the one who he or she is God. So if you are God, if you are divine, if you are supreme being, then you will never do mistake. And then the second person who never does mistake in that concept is people who do nothing. Even yes, in some ways we say doing nothing itself is a mistake. Because how can you live? How can you live and how can you attain your potential? How can you attain yours to be yourself? The only way you be yourself is by doing things again and again, and you learn, and you things go well, things don't go well, you keep learning from it. So it's that either you go or you do nothing. So if you're doing things, they're meant to be mistakes, they're meant to be success, they're meant to be disaster. Acceptance is when we look at what can I do, or what could I have done different? You know, the attitude, isn't it? Attitude is constantly looking at what is wrong, where is the problem? And I'm sure you will come across many people, wherever they go, okay? Either if you put the sugar in their tea or you didn't put the sugar in tea, they will complain for both. If there is enough salt in the food you made or there is no salt in the food, they would love to find a reason to complain. What is wrong? So again, the yoga said there are only two types of people. He put everyone in the two categories. The one who is looking for what is the problem. And the second attitude is, what can I do about it? So recognizing it, that's your first step, isn't it? Because if I don't recognize, if I keep denying, I'm fine, there's nothing wrong with me, nothing wrong with my life. I don't need to deal with anything. Then all I will do is blame everybody, blame everything, the situation, the God, the karma. We have many excuses. I can tell you, all of us have million excuses to justify, isn't it? And if nothing works, we just put it down to the fate or destiny, or it was meant to happen. I have to go through it. It was supposed to be that way. So what is our attitude? Are we looking into what can I do? Or are we looking at everything is a problem? And you know, when you open yourself to the second perspective, what can I do? The good thing in that, well, we all know what can we do about things. We know, don't we? The only thing we all need to tap on our back, and this is why I tell everybody, you go to tap on your back that you are a great human being, which you are. Every spiritual teaching I've come across, and I believe in it, we all are great human beings. But we go to tap on our back and see, what can I do about it? But how can I become myself? How can I become good with me? So are we looking into the problem or are we looking into the solution? What is our attitude? And in that attitude, my first practice I want to exercise with you all is to, I would love to listen if you don't mind. How do you see, how do you perceive your relation with yourself? Say if you have to talk about yourself for a couple of minutes, who am I? Now, I'm not talking about the God, the divine, because I know it's easy, like we are divine spirit. I'm talking about life. If you have to put yourself in a couple of sentences, how do you see yourself? What is your own perception about yourself? Do you see yourself, I'm just a poor thing, I'm full of problems, my life is in a disaster, or do you have a different language? And if there is something need to be changed, where do we begin that change? We go to, I can tell you, people who want to be mentally healthy or feel the self-worth, feel that inner willpower, you got to rewrite your first sentence, even if you can rewrite one sentence about yourself. If you have to talk about yourself in one sentence, what would be your first sentence? Shall you all have a think and let's see what you all come up with? I hope it doesn't sound too much. Who want to have a go? You're welcome to, Sujani. If you want to say something, you can start. I'm just thinking, what would be my one sentence?
I'm happy to start. I think because I've heard this from you often, Yandev, I would want my statement to be, I am strong.
Great.
I'm compassionate. I'm work in progress, and I'm definitely better than I was.
If I hadn't listened to you, and you said just say something about yourself straight away, I would have said I am stressed beyond. Listening to what the others say, if I was to say a positive, I believe I'm a kind person.
That's great. Because for now, at the moment, I just feel myself, I just feel like I'm a host. I'm trying to host the circle. That's like the thought that is coming through me. Now, when we're doing this exercise, thinking about ourselves, now, each one of us got something that how we want to see it. Now, my second exercise is what do we do about it? What do we do about it? Like, how can we let that to become the part of our nature? And when I'm talking about the part of the nature, I'm talking about in there, okay? Because I'm hearing each one of you value. It's very easy to be compassionate. It's very easy to be kind. It's very easy to be understandable. It's very easy to host other people, the groups, or whatever it is. The hardest thing is to host ourselves. Hardest thing is to be kind to ourselves. And yoga, whenever we're talking about these inner qualities or virtues, the yoga says, you practice on yourself. Do you know how easy it is to forgive somebody else? Even if somebody has done the worst possible things to us, and if that person comes back with a genuine heart, with genuine tears, or whatever, however they come up with, bring a flower or a card and genuinely say, I'm really sorry, I was an idiot, please forgive me. We tend to feel more love, more compassionate towards those people, isn't it? It actually can multiply or enhance our relation, the quality of relation with somebody, just by doing that. Actually doing the same practice with ourselves. We prefer, for whatever the reason is, psychological or this deep inbuilt in us, we prefer to beat ourselves up more than love ourselves. So now my second exercise, I like each one of us to think, as you mentioned a quality or how you see yourself, what can you do about it? How can you enhance it for yourself, not for the society, okay? Not for the world, not for the outer universe. How can you enhance it for yourself? Yes.
I realised that, and I am now rebuilding my circle around me to become stronger.
You just go for it, Suzanne, when you're ready. You don't need to wait.
I quite like actually what you just said then in the room. To me, it's about building that circle of people that align to what you feel and think, to help you build that inner peace.
I think to me, when I think about myself and holding, and I'm talking about holding the space at this point, what I'm doing, when it comes to hold my own space, I really have to I could have done this, I could have done that, I could have done so much more. Instead of like, okay, I've done my best. And forgiving and letting go the mistakes and all the ups and downs. Because when we made choices, we made them based on the best intention or the best impulse or emotion, whatever we were going through.
I find with compassion,
I'm very hard on myself when with time. So I feel compassionate back to myself when I'm compassionate to my animals, the ones that I rescue, and I've differently pig. And I've noticed lately I'm allowing myself to be more compassionate to them by spending a lot more time with them, which feeds back into myself.
Cool. That's a nice one.
I don't know the answer. That's what I think. I don't know how I could be kind to myself. I'm searching for it as well.
I guess to me that is actually quite a nice answer, if I be honest, because to me, saying that I don't know, it's quite kind to yourself.
Sign of strength.
Yeah, it's a strength. It's a big courage to actually accept it. You know, our problem in the world, when I look at the situation, is not really about we don't know. The problem is when people are out loud saying we know and they have no idea of what they're doing. So to me, if you can step out of that, I know what can I do, I know what I should have done, into I don't know. That's a very basic fundamental practice, to be kind, also to be forgiving. To be letting go. Because for me, if I believe I know and I'm doing mistakes, I'm going through whatever I'm going through, then I beat myself up. The other way is to actually realizing it. Still, it's not, to me, when we're talking about our life, it's not something in this like, it's not about don't care attitude. We need to care, we need to love, we need to also seek for the right mindset, with lots of kindness, lots of acceptance. And I don't know, to me, is actually itself is a great practice. Because when I say I don't know, means I will seek for something. I will seek for an answer, I will seek for the practice. So let's move on from that into now, how do we perceive our mind? Or how do you see your mind? Has it got some sort of organization? Is there some sort of will that we can switch it on and off, or we can sort of channel it, tune into something, or is it just chaotic all over the place? So to me, my question is, what is your perception about your mind? If you have to put it in few sentences, go for it.
My perception of my mind at the moment is there's way too much in it. And it needs organising. It's like a closet that's just, everybody's just thrown in all clothes, and I'm just trying to pick it all out, hang it up and sort it. I think that might be part of moving from the town to here, and everything's gone, lots of things gone wrong, and there's so much to do. I just almost feel like I want to sort of organise it. I want one of those organisers to come in and sort my head out. That's how I feel. Yeah.
It's a great realization. We'll come to what we do next. Okay.
Mine's busy. It is in strength building mode. So day by day, brick by brick, piece by piece, it's coming together like a house.
Mine's like a ping pong table. So constantly going from one thing to another, flitting between things, and find it hard to keep focus on one thing.
This week mine is okay. A couple of weeks ago, it was very chaotic. So circumstances sometimes make it worse. And then I could have, like I said, if I'd gone back to February, I would have said it was all over the place. It was complete chaos. And then sometimes you go through a few weeks and it's better, and you seem to have an end that you can see the sort of end of the tunnel. You're coming into the light. And then something will start and could be back in chaos. It's a bit like my life.
Okay, I think generally I can certainly say my mind is quite organized, but also it does become victim easily of all sorts of stuff. So I certainly know like 60% time my mind is quite organized and I know what I'm doing, I know what I'm thinking, I know what I'm talking. And then the other 30-40% depends on the situation. So easily I still haven't really worked through the practices to keep my mind above the situation and all the ups and downs of the life. But that's okay. That's to me, I think I'm quite happy. I don't want to really get too far away yet. I'm quite enjoying the life itself. When we're thinking of our mind organization, mind structuring, one of my powerful practice of many of them from yoga is actually learning or rephrasing the way you want to think, the way you want to live, or the way you want to be inside yourself. And one of the issue with the mind, it definitely does not like no. It does not like telling off. It does not like shutting down. So mind to me is like a abundance. Your mind has the power of abundance. Your mind has the power of river. Mind has the power of love. Obviously, it also has the power of hate. It has the power of anger. It has the power of agitation. It literally does not like the answer of no. So to me, when I begin to think of what can I do to re-engineer or restructure my mind and my life, my basic step, very, very fundamental step is start doing what you like to, or you want to, or you need to be doing. Now, your liking can be, as each one of you are telling me, a value of strength, compassion, care, or kindness. How can I develop it? Or value can be, I want to be happy, or I want to be organized. Instead of talking, thinking, and focusing or absorbing in what I'm doing wrong, you begin to think, what can I do right? Because the minute you say, what am I doing wrong, what has gone wrong, you are focusing on that. And I really like actually in the Zen practices, in the Zen religion, Mahavira, one of the great yogi, he says the meditation is he classified meditation in two categories, the good meditation and bad meditation. And he said everyone naturally is good in bad meditation. So when there is something to be stressed about, we can muddle in that, I don't know, for weeks and weeks, like depression. Depression is just like when you get caught up into something, fear, anxiety, phobia. It is a strong state of meditation, isn't it? But the mind is focused on something that has gone wrong. So the minute we say no to our mind, the battle begins. So if you even like even people who actually don't smoke, if somebody comes and say to them out loud, you're not allowed to smoke anymore, then that's it, snap us out of it, like this negative marketing is such a great example to look at, when they create all this chaos in our life. And the supermarket's running out. Just because people are buying 10, 20 of them. I saw somebody in Tesco, and I still remember there are like 6 or 7 of them, the big ones, and I just think like,
I still don't understand that.
we don't understand, do we? But
I buy in bulk, so sorry, I'm not.
no, that's fine. I'm talking about the situation.
Well, the cash is right.
Yeah. No, if you're buying it because you do once in a month or once in a while shopping, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about the chaos that was caused by a negative thought that you are now.
Yeah.
You're going to miss something.
But when you hear that somebody's buying toilet rolls in large numbers, you do. I'll be perfectly honest. I think, perhaps I need to go and buy some
But
toilet
they don't
rolls.
either.
Yeah.
No, it's not exactly that, but I'm thinking, well, if it's going to be out next week, I can perhaps I better have an extra.
Yeah. So to me, when you bring that in your mind, see, I'm not really talking about, into the material thing, but actually, how do I reorganize my mind, my thought processes? And what I do then, I need to continuously reaffirming or rephrasing my thought process. And it's a continuous work. To me, one of the important practice is to remind. And I would certainly recommend, it's so worth to have a big post or something or somewhere written, maybe on your phone screen or somewhere. Can I voice my thought? What am I thinking? What am I thinking at this point? Is it worth for me to think? Is it worth for me to think? And whenever you remind, I don't know, you can do a bit of, I don't know, you can do something, and you can do clapping, you can do a bit of shaking like you were doing, you can do some sound, or you can just go and have a cup of tea. Do something, and this is what in yoga it says, whenever you are stressed, whenever you are agitated, caught up into the negative thought, all you need to practice is do something opposite. Do something opposite. Now that opposite, what I really love here, it does not say what to do. Because again, if you put a what to do practice there, it would not work. To me, what you feel doing or what works for you. Now, for some of us can work, go for a little walk, get some fresh air. For somebody, it can be just a little thing. If I can get a cup of tea, my life is good. Maybe a slice of cake, or maybe that biscuit we were having a fun earlier. So he said, do something about it. So it means do something that helps you to put a new series of thoughts, a new series of feeling, a new series of emotion. And please remember that is not something we can master for life. It's something we have to do every day, unless you go away from the society. If you go away from the stimulus, then it will be different. If you're living in the situation, in the place, and I really love my psychology professor used to tell us, he said, think of your mind work, working on your mind, your positive thinking, your kindness, your compassion, your joyful happiness. You got to think of that like your food. If you have eaten today, do you not have to eat tomorrow? Do you not have to eat dinner? Of course we have to. So I said, if we need to feed our body, if we need to breathe every couple of seconds, then we need to also work on mind just like that continuously. And keep picking up, keep rephrasing. But the easiest practice with the mind is to develop positive thoughts, positive habits. And it's a continuous retraining. It needs lots and lots of retraining. And once you start working on it, gradually it becomes easier and easier. So the practice will be reminder, shake your head, and which I mean don't have to shake your head, but actually, giving a bit of rattling to the mind and say, and put a new thought, put a new phrase there. Pratipaksa bhavana. It says replace the negative thought, the negative feeling with the positive thought, and that's all you need to do. You don't need to force, you don't need to control, you don't need to put, because the control is another, for the mind, for the body, we can control it. The body, you can just say, sit there for an hour. Yes, in beginning, couple of minutes, there will be aches, pains, all sorts of stuff. But once your body has get over that, in beginning, there is a itching, there is a pain, there is this, that, flies, and everything. But once you go beyond that, your body can remain however you like it to be. Mind, it takes a long process. For mind, it's opposite. For mind, if I say, let's just sit quiet, then I can tell you the minute, if you all do it, the minute you say, let's sit quiet, that's the time like, but when the thoughts are coming, if you don't pay attention to it, and then keep replacing it, to me, your mind is really just like a beautiful garden. If you got flowers, if you got vegetables, all that growing on, you must go around them every day or every week to weed, to keep it clear. And also you must nurture it with a good food, water, air, heat, sun, everything it needs. And I think that's something seems to be nobody's really cared and nobody's bothered, or we all not trained for doing that. What we have been exposed to is tension and more tension. You know, how many of us say, oh, I'm going to relax, and for relax we put the telly on and watch the news. I hope you all don't do it, but if you do, you got to rethink about that. But I come across many people to relax, let's watch the news. Don't watch the news. Don't watch the news. So to me, when you're thinking about relaxing your mind, or what you do in that relaxation, or how you spend the quality time with yourself, or what is the practice that actually works to bring the inner joy in you, what brings joy to you. And if you know that practice, keep doing it, and more you do it, then it will keep changing your mind and it will give you a new structure. Like for me, I can tell you, for me, teaching and staring and holding these circles and what you're doing, it can change me upside down into the good. It doesn't matter what I'm going through. When I come out and talk to you all and doing what I'm doing, it just flips everything around. Another thing I'm happy to share before I listen to you, a nice cup of coffee and cake, especially when I'm going out to a cafe or somewhere. Honestly, it doesn't matter what hell I'm going through in my head, in my mind. If I can do one of them, it's just basically like everything dissolves, like nothing exists anymore. So as we talk about our mind organization, my next question for each one of us, which I already answered, what is that one practice that you know it works for your mind? As I said, it can be walk, it can be listening music, watching a comedy, a drama. It can be, I don't know, for each one, it can be different. Seeing friends, playing with animals, cleaning the house. I come across, one of the ladies, and she was talking to me how when nothing works, you just get the vacuum cleaner and get through the whole house and clean up. And she said, I just feel like when I do that, I cleaned up my mind, and all that clutter that accumulated like a rubbish everywhere is gone. So let's hear each one of you to see what works for you.
I think mine is definitely coffee and cake, and then journaling. I find if I sit down, I literally go through my day so busy, but I really look forward to that. I have set time breaks, but they're not exact times because obviously with animals you can't predict it. But I really look forward to the time that I sit down and my head ready to go on to the next thing, and I find I have to have those breaks. Otherwise I get confused and I don't really, my day doesn't flow. But if I stop, my day flows a lot better than if I just try and carry on.
Oh, that's amazing. So your practice is keep doing it.
Oh, it literally is definitely working for me.
Tea talking, wow. Suzanne, yeah, go for it.
For me, it's sitting in the garden in the sun.
I think you need to find one more, Susanna, because it's not always sunny.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. You have to find one more.
No, it's very true, actually. I think for me, it would be lying on the floor and just snuggling with my dog.
That's always there. So that's why we got to find things that also there whenever we need it. Even it's midnight, it's there.
Mine used to be playing tennis.
Mhm.
Now I suppose sometimes picking up the phone and talking to a friend of years.
Mhm. Wow, see the both.
Years or ears?
Years.
Yes,
Mhm. Like the ears.
yeah. Oh, no, years.
No, years.
Years. Okay. I think I like both of them. The
Yeah,
friends
yeah, I wasn't sure.
I quite like both the
It both
friends
works.
of the ears and friends of the ear.
Yeah.
I dropped my line.
Huh? No, I actually like both of them because the friends of ear like non-judgmental friends and a friend who can listen. Okay, so that sounds really great. So actually applying that, taking that in our practice. And my last task for today, where do you exist in your own life? And that is, I know it's very typical, but where do you exist? Like, what is your priority? And I'm not talking about the world, I'm not talking about the people or the life you take care of. I'm talking about you as a self. Do you have a minute every day? I'm not talking about all day, okay? Do you have a minute every day or here and there to talk to yourself and see who are you? What do you want? What is your priority for yourself? It can be your physical health, your happiness, it can be ambition, there can be goal, there can be all different things in life. Do you have a task every day to do something for you?
I make a cup of tea first thing in the morning when I get up and go and sit in the conservatory.
Cool. And do you do it with thinking, this is what I want to do for myself? Perfect.
Try most days early-ish, go for a walk. I don't know if I do it because I think it does me good. I don't know that I've ever thought to myself, I'm doing this for myself. In a sort of roundabout way.
Yeah.
Because if I don't do it, I do feel that, it's not about me.
So I think to me, this is what we're talking about here. See, the recognition is giving more love to it, more appreciation to it. And it's also like in our own heart, having this sense of I care for myself. It's very easy to care for other people. It's just, I care for myself. I care for my glass of water, cup of tea. I care for my walk. I care for my practice. Let's keep going.
So I did drop a lot of things when we were moving and so busy, like I actually do yoga, but I stopped doing that. I stopped doing my exercise for me. But what I did keep was, and even right through lockdown and everything, after I've sorted the animals out, I'll make myself, I have hot water and lemon first thing in the morning. And I have an app called Soul Time, and it's like a Christian app with just 4 minutes meditation and prayer. And I sit there and do that. And then I put my makeup on, because I love makeup. I do it for myself. Even in lockdown, I did it. That's my time in the morning, even if I don't get any time all day. I kept hold of that right through.
I feel empowered listening you three actually. Let's hear, Suzanne, what you got to say.
I think as I'm thinking about it, I actually don't have one thing or anything I do on a daily basis that is just for me. So I love making a cup of tea and having it, but I don't do it with any sort of mindset. I'll just make the tea and I'll drink it, and I probably won't even notice that I've drunk it. The one thing I do every week that is really for myself is I go and sing in a choir. which I love. But yeah, it's interesting. I think there's probably something each day that I do need to do that I do with more thought than I currently do. And it would probably be, well, it gets to the sitting outside, which I know you can't do every day, but it probably needs to be that moment over breakfast, sitting and enjoying breakfast rather than scrolling through emails on the phone, and actually taking that time.
Wow, nice, nice. I think for me at the moment, like it's been a couple of months that I'm becoming aware to it. It's cooking for myself, because I grew up in India and the spicy food is a little bit more spicy than anyone around in my life. I'm talking about my children can cope with it. And it's been like a 2-3 months. Somehow I just like realize, like, why do I not cook for myself now and then? So I might make a curry or a dal or whatever I'm making for them. Then I do a slight separate portion at the end, like eat, just like refry it and add a few more spices and stuff. And I'm actually enjoying it. And this is where this inquiry I'm talking about, I coming up with me, because I'm recognizing it, like actually making something that I want to eat, not just like what kids want, what people want, what I'm feeding who, or what they can eat. Suddenly changing, like, no, I actually want to eat something different. And I another thing I do for myself, I enjoy writing, definitely, as you said, I really enjoy writing. And when I do it, I always remind myself I do it for myself. And I used to feel a little guilty for a little bit, because suddenly it seems to be, we conditioned about doing things for other people, but not doing for ourselves. You see, when you change that into the self-care and self-love, what changes in us is we begin to also feel gratitude to ourselves. And it feels so important. I can tell you, it's really important. It's important to feel our love and gratitude for our life, people, situation, food, everything we're being blessed with, every element. But we also got to feel gratitude for our own existence. Because without your existence, without your mind, without your body, without your happiness, without your energy, you're doing that experience, whatever we're going through, doesn't exist. And we all forget about gratitude for our own existence. So just a couple of little things really, and I guess what we discussed, it doesn't have to have that kind of language. You can rephrase it and you can make your own practice around it. But try to make a little space, and it can be a couple of minutes. I like to now and then practice a day, where I try to be mindful throughout the day to see that, yes, I'm doing something to look after somebody, but what joy it brings to me. Instead of saying what I give, we say what I receive from it. Because I'm sure there is always abundance, there is always something we receive. If our focus is in what I'm giving, we don't see what's coming back. I hope it all makes some sense. So if anyone of you want to add or bring something in it, please do. Otherwise, that should be enough for now. And you all got a couple of more sessions to go through, some relaxation sound, some hand massage, and few magic things. So yeah, if anyone of you want to add something more, please do. I'm happy to listen.
I'd just like to add, since I've moved here, I've really began to find myself and feel a lot more gratitude towards myself. Definitely noticed that coming out since moving to West Wales and moving away from a circle that was probably a bit toxic. And then realising what I needed, I realised that other people would need it too. So I quite selfishly set up a women's circle for tea and chat, knowing that if I needed that, then other people here would need it as well. But that's also then made me really grateful that other people needed it, because I needed to vent and have a conversation. And that's working really well, actually. And I'm actually really proud of myself for what I've done since I've arrived, to bring other people together for initially like a selfish purpose, but actually that selfless act has actually really helped a lot of people around me and is continuing to grow. And I was wondering if you would come and do a small talk at one of our sessions when you have some time.
Of course, I would be honoured, and I'm happy to be with the women's circle. I can dress up. I'm kidding.
We can have those bits, and I just
I
want
can
Sandra
dress up
to
pink.
know. I just wanted Sandra to know that it's an option. It's on Facebook. I don't know if you're on Facebook, but
No,
it's
I
an
try
option.
to keep off.
That's fair enough. But it's an option if you ever want to attend. There's probably a space where if your dad's mobile, you could just bring him along. It's quite a big space in the bookshop. So he might feel comfortable attending with him.
I would be honoured. I would be honoured, and I would certainly feel honoured to come and hold a circle.
And also there's a mind circle as well down in Whitman's Memorial Hall once a week. And they would probably really benefit from carers, looking after carers. I know you've just finished, but I know they're also looking at the moment for more people to understand. They're working on a project for people that are unpaid carers in how they would actually like support for caring for themselves because they're caring for somebody else. It's an ongoing project, and again, I forgot. Oh, I might have the leaflet with me. So people in the community have got an opportunity to feed back in, and I know yourself and your family are prepared to do that to help people as well. So there's a couple of things locally that could really help, and the mind group itself I found really useful because it's a group just to chat. Somebody else makes you that first cup of tea or the second cup of tea of the day.
Nice.
They possibly give you a biscuit subject to the day, and there's just people that are all going through something different to yourself, and we all just sit. It's a mixed group of male and female and very different ages and cultures, and we just sit and chat, and actually it's really beneficial. It's every Wednesday down in the Memorial Hall, 9 till 12.
I would love to come. Next 2 weeks I'm in Portugal, but when I'm back,
No problem.
are we connected on Facebook? Or if
We
you
are,
if you
Mr.
connect,
J, yes.
then I would be honoured, and I would love to join.
Thank
And I think we are going for the next funding for the mental health and well-being. I have to pack myself and run.
you. Off to Portugal.
Yeah, that's my plan for now. I've got a train to catch at 1:30. It's still going.
Gosh. All the best.
Thank you very much, and I have actually loved every moment being with you all. I really love these carers retreat because I feel quite inspired meeting with people who are looking after somebody else. There is so much love in it, and keep doing it. But just to don't forget that you also exist. I think to me the practice for you all, please make, even if it's a minute. I'm not talking about a whole day. Even if it's a minute, to just give yourself a little hug, give yourself a little tap, make yourself a nice cup of tea, or I really like the idea of just even quickly put some makeup on or do something that you do for yourself. And I will try to find, because I remember there was a lady talking on one of the Facebook, because sometimes these positive things come up, and she was talking for 10 minutes, and she was talking to like the women groups, and like, have you ever put the makeup for yourself? And even I was honestly like listening or thinking, like, because most women you hear, they're like, why put the makeup to look myself, make myself look attractive to other people? So thank you for honestly, that was like really, to me, it reminded me of that, like doing that because I want to feel good.
I was really shocked when everybody was saying that they just slogged around the house without the makeup and hair done. I just thought, who are you doing it for then on a normal day? And it did, because it just didn't occur to me like what I do. And it's only then that I thought, oh, okay, didn't realise that other people just
don't
do
care.
it for themselves. They don't care what they look like for themselves, but it really matters to me.